Hey y'all, it's your girl Miss J Renee, and this is my show, Talk That Talk Around the Table. Today, first of all, don't judge me. Today, I have a very special guest with me today. Very special person. This is going to be an epic show. If you are tuning in and you catch the pre-record, please like and subscribe and follow me on my channel. So a little bit about my guest. This individual is a PR director, founder of Jewels of Rome. She's inspired to build an empire that focuses in helping and assisting talent from the ground up throughout the industry and underground artists or creators. Into business, she was in design major. Very, very high expectations when it comes to her. Her background shapes to utilize her force, her powerful force, to help individuals behind the scene and the forefront. And we're also going to talk about her book release, which she just released, I think this month, but we'll get more into that. When I first met Jules, she was very optimistic, very open-minded, and very pleasant to work with. I was going to help her out with PR work, and being the most transparent and honest person that she is, we kind of gravitate to more of us being musically inclined. That's something that we share. So I had a vision, she had her vision, and we just came together with this strategic development. And that's what she's doing now. She has a plan to build a powerful industry where it can position young artists or creators with executing their plan. She works behind the scenes with numerous talents, major events. She works alongside with artists, basketball players, broadcasting network, DJs, models. She's in the media platform, and she works with producers. Again, she has a strategic development and branding consultant for emerging and establishing creatives. And she's California's hottest. She attends the hottest events, including headliner events and concerts, community activations, exclusive private events, festivals, industry mixers, and curated sessions and experience.
I'm waiting patiently.
The vision and delivering it to the public with excellence and impact. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Jules. Hey, Jules. Can you see me?
Yes, how are you?
Oh, you look so beautiful. I am good. It's been a windy day, but I'm working. I'm working
It's
with
not.
it.
It's getting warm out here. I probably should have opened the window, so hopefully I don't. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot. But I'm good. So how are
Is
you?
it windy down there? It's like crazy out
Uh,
here.
I'm in Victorville, so it always is low key windy, but it's good. The wind is good up here because it gets warm.
Warm, yeah.
Yeah. So at least the breeze is cool. As a matter of fact, I probably should open the window because I'm gonna fly in here. I had to lock all the kids out, so.
Yeah, my girls are not here yet, but they'll be coming soon. So I'm like, okay, let me get myself up and get everything together before they get here.
Right.
Without further ado, if you can introduce and tell the audience who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Jewel, a PR branding strategist. I also say that I also do marketing. Is it too much if I open this window? I so apologize, but
No.
I don't. Okay, one second.
Take your time.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I was like, yeah, you guys are gonna see me frying if I'm not. So let me do this. But yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so I'm a PR branding strategist. I also do marketing. I mean, honestly, I think I don't just do PR in a sense. I do have a team of people that I work with that are PRs as well, and then I do have a team of people that do marketing as well and branding and et cetera, et cetera. But that, in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I do. I pretty much just strategize game plans, and then I also wrote a couple of books. The Secret Sauce, Your Engine to Success in the Music Business, is one of the first books I wrote a few years ago. I want to say 2021. The idea of that book was to provide a base or understanding of what it takes to get your brand from 0 to 1,000. So, at the end of the day, in this music business, there is no roadmap or guide to. There never has been. So I wanted there to be some type of reference as to like an idea of what that looks like. So pretty much that just gives people more of an insight of what they need to know in order, to take their brand from, 0 to 1,000. So there's that book. And then I recently just dropped my workbook, my first workbook of many series to come, which is called Breaking My Music, The Foundation, Series 1, Volume 1, which is titled Is Music My Passion? And the whole idea here is, okay, so for those artists that are just ready to say, hey, I want to do this for, this is what I want to do. I'm giving them the reel, the inside reel, so they have a really good idea of knowing what it's going to take and what they will have to dedicate to do to actually to be a successful brand. Yes. So there's a lot of insights that I'm sharing with a lot of other, well-known celebrities, industry executives, and more. It's actually a workbook. How do I want to say? It's interactive, and it's the first of its kind. There's really never ever been anything like this. So ideally, in general, there will be about maybe 12 series, I want to say, and in each one, there'll be a broken down of volumes, which will break down different things in that series. So, for example, the series that I just dropped is based on the foundation, which is pretty much on the mindset. So the second one will be about mindset. The third volume will be more about shifting your paradigm. And then in the next series, we'll do the business foundation. Third one, creating the actual project. And then the next, marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So what's kind of cool is what I did is I brought in a collective of pretty much all my partners that I've worked with over the years, which is really anywhere between, a few years to 20 years plus. And within each breakdown, there will be collabing specifically on specific topics. Because, of course, I'm not the expert in all these things. Okay, I work with a team of experts, but I do have an expertise of building out game plans that help the clients to be able to take them to 0 to 1,000. And honestly, I'm just super grateful because my journey's been really dope. I've worked with a lot of people behind the scenes for quite some time, and like I would say, I'm just grateful for them because we're the ones that knocked down the doors. We got in the meetings, we got in those rooms, because when I first started, there was really no outlets in order to get into the door, or opportunities. Really, you just had the labels, and it was like if you knew somebody type thing.
Yes,
hopefully in there, but. Yeah, so we've pretty much been able to create a whole lot of things. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys today.
Nice. So I have a couple questions as we're jumping into the book, The Secret Sauce. Yeah. What inspired you to write this now?
So as I mentioned, The Secret Sauce, I wrote it several years ago. Well, not several, but 2021. And it was actually kind of the base of what I'm doing now. And we'll get more into that, of course. So ideally, the whole concept came from, if it's cool, I'm going to give the audience a little bit of background so they have a better idea. Right. But I represented a booking agency for probably about, I want to say maybe 16 plus years. I represented a global radio network for quite some time, which is called Radio Next Radio. You guys could check that out. They've been known for a long time, actually. And that was actually a really blessing to work with. I'll highlight, the owner, who is Keith Robinson, also known in the industry as Cool V or Mr. Official Whistle back in the day. But today he goes by Keith Robinson. He actually does not even do hip hop, by the way. He only does a lot of overseas and a lot of different other genres, and more corporate stuff for sure. But phenomenal man. I mean, he's a great friend of mine. And he actually has been here since like Tupac and Biggie, which is so dope. So he's worked, been in the room with both of them. He actually helped market Karis One, Ashanti, Stevie Stone, Mac Miller, Wale. Man, he's worked with the Sean John brand when it first came out, even 106 in Park when it first came out. He's Clear Channel Viacom. I mean, the guy is mad, like has so much, behind him. Like he's literally helped a ton of the industry, and a lot of it, transpires to today. But so I worked with him, and then also worked with one of my first talents, or I should say, one of the first artists I met about 20 years ago, which is so cool. Is back in the day, his name was, we called him Cypher. That was his artist name, and today he's known as Chris Tyson, which he's one of the biggest gurus today in the music media marketing world. So really cool story, good friend, of course. And around 2013, he kind of got frustrated with the whole trying to find resources and whatnot. He's pretty much one of us who helped knock down doors and etc. So he got into his own thing, did his homework, started taking up courses, etc. And he started doing marketing. So he actually started outsourcing and helping, or other people, I want to say, actually started reaching out to him basically, because they seen, he was working on his own projects and how he was doing that. So his first break was actually Post Malone's song Iverson, and then from there the rest is history. I think he's that Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Pump, Trippie Redd, Playboy Cardi, 6ix9ine. Oh my god, so many people he's actually break into the industry. So by 2019, that company, which his main company is called Viral Media Boost, has been the #1 music media marketing company since 2019. Online, to date, we've probably helped about 60,000 and counting independent artists, 60% of the music industry, and worked with every music label. During COVID, he actually got into, we both actually joined a few different mentors for financial literacy, and which was really dope because, we actually were working together there a little bit. And then he kind of was like, just kind of as things started plunging, with the industry, and just people started losing, jobs started changing and things like that. He came up with this idea to help the independent artists actually build their credit and personal and business credit to actually be able to obtain funding just like any other business would. So he created the program Music Funding Academy, which today is pretty well known. Today I want to say we have about 700 people in our academy right now, currently actively, doing the program. And I want to say somewhere around 2 to 3 million is what he's helped and assisted for funding last year. So booking world, global radio network, the music media marketing world. I mean, I've kind of been behind these scenes for the last 20 years. And I think when I left the booking world, I kind of left it in a sense because I was really a lot of people probably know me. I was always the go-to person to get on whatever stage, but I kind of left the actual front end scene in a sense of that around the end of 2018. And I want to say throughout the last couple of years, one thing that probably bothered me the most is I started realizing a couple things. One, I noticed that there was so many talents that were on the red carpet or, at the private mixers, etc. And they were broke. And it just you look great, but we're broke. I don't get this. It didn't make any sense. Right. And then not only that, just, being in different elements behind the scene, I did realize too, a lot of talents, especially in the booking world, everybody's excited to book something to get on stage, but they're not doing marketing. They're not doing anything branding wise, right. So it's literally like a poof of smoke when you're jumping on stage. Yeah. Quick example. And I actually share this in the book as well. I go into a little bit of depth of it, but let's just give you a really quick idea. I've had artists that came to me at that time to jump on Rolling Loud. And the price to get on Rolling Loud for like maybe, I think it was like maybe 6-7 minutes at the very most, was probably about 10 grand. And so I would have artists that would come and like, oh yeah, I'm ready to book, I got my money ready, I'm blah blah blah, right? And so those of you that not familiar, when a promoter or somebody booking for a major stage, there's literally like 3 things they're looking at. One, does your music suck? Can you at least have great enough music that it's gonna, the crowd's gonna enjoy it? You're not gonna kill the crowd. Can you bring people to the event? A lot of promoters want to know, like, do you even have a following that you can bring?
Right.
And then of course, the cost or whatever, and that's literally it. Now, when I would do my intake at that point for artists to book, because I am a PR branding strategist and I did represent the booking agency, and we also had a marketing company, we would have like an intake that would kind of like go through a few questions to kind of get an idea, like, do you have an HK, and if there's anything else that we can probably help them out with. But at the same time, in that process, it's just wild because I would notice that so many artists would come and they have underscores, or they're in their Instagram handles or their social media handles, or they don't match anything whatsoever to their actual artist name. So it was totally confusing. You cannot find them. You can't search them online. Like nothing's populating, not online, not on social media, like nowhere. And I'm like, yo, like, this is crazy. Like, so I would tell them, hey, if you want to jump on this stage, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I would really suggest to them, if you are looking to just really maximize your budget, why not go invest 10,000 into your marketing? You know what I'm saying? Like, for the next 10 months, 12 months, whatever, 6 months, however many, because I promise you, most likely you're probably going to get an invite, if not to Rolling Loud, probably something similar by then, and be pretty close to the opportunity where it's actually going to make sense for you, and either that, or it's like, if you just want to splurge it, why not just go to a strip club? why not just rent out the strip club? You know what I'm saying? At least you could get something out of it.
Right.
Bottles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but get some content. But so I don't think that they understand that, because it's like, you could be on stage and you could perform a song, even if it's great, even if your music is great, it's like immediately everybody's going to be online trying to find you. Right. And if they can't find you, you're just a poof of smoke. And then it's like, you're forgotten, Yes, now, sure. Today, moving forward, and with AI and technology, it's even worse. Yes. It's like 1,000 times worse. But we do have solutions, which is great. So anyhow, back to the book of why I created it. That was one of the main reasons that like kind of really just hit me. Like, they just don't get it. And honestly, I just feel like a lot of talents, they spend time, kind of, I mean, not saying that they don't go after certain things, but we don't know. How would we know? How would we know what it is to take us from 0 to 1,000 if we've never learned it? Right. I mean, it's basically like saying, how do we know about financial literacy? In our community, we don't know. I mean, we get taught literally 2 things mainly in school: how to work for somebody and how to write a check. Right. We get taught nothing else: how to build a business, how to work our finances, nothing. So it's really the same thing when it comes to even in the music business, and then of course you have all the labels that are just gatekeepers. They don't want to share information. I mean, that is their business. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, so the book pretty much just gives people more of an overall base of what it is that it's going to take their brand from 0 to 1,000. And it's so important, because without understanding that, you're just going to be pivoting. Right. So, yeah.
So, question. It looks like, based on experience with the pros and cons, you kind of observed a lot of the ups and downs when it comes to artists, getting on stage or even just projecting, showcasing their talent. What is
Yeah.
the biggest mistake you see new artists making that this book directly addresses?
I mean, well, definitely that's probably one. And honestly, I think just it's not even so much a mistake. Once again, it's just not having the knowledge or
Right.
knowing.
The guidance.
You know,
Right.
so yeah, so and if you don't know, it's like, how do you know that you're missing something? You know, so that book will actually give people the basic recipe of what it is that they need to know. So
If an artist, an independent artist, only applied one principle from your book, what should it be?
well, that one specifically, you want to take the whole because it's gonna give you the four basic. I call them the four pillars of what you need to know in order to take your brand. So basically, applying it.
That's right.
Yeah,
I have
and
a lot of art. I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say that, and then another thing, is just knowing where the resources is, to actually apply it.
Right.
So there is, there is a way to contact, like, to get help, in the back of the book.
I have a lot of artists that I've worked with in the past, and upcoming new artists that have found their way to my pages and stuff like that. And the first conversation is always about what is it that they need to do. So I feel like this book is definitely would be like a artist Bible
Yeah,
for them, a
it
good
is.
guide. I can't wait to kind of like showcase this and give people the solution. You have the solution, and that's brilliant. I feel like it'll help a lot of artists and bring them to the forefront, because a lot of them really want to gain that momentum. They just don't have the right connections. They don't know how to speak up either. I feel like a lot of artists
And I have a
really have to put
solution.
themselves out there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I have a solution too as well for them now, that I just built out. So I'm excited to share that. But yeah, which is pretty much rolls into the second book.
I was just about to ask you that the Breaking My Music Workbook Series 1, does that complement the message of what the secret sauce is bringing to the world now?
Yep, absolutely. So basically, the secret sauce is pretty much giving you the recipe, right? Or, the guide to. But now we need to fill it in with information so we know what to do in every step. So that's pretty much what Breaking My Music is pretty much a broken down of everything you can possibly think of, from 0 to 1,000. So like I said, it's broken down into different series, And now what I also did, and this is so crazy because I actually just recently came up with this thought and idea to do this several months ago, was I needed a place that I wanted to do because I also have workshops. Generally, when I first started to create the whole Breaking My Music, was actually going to be like a convention or a course or something like that. And of course, with COVID and everything and just how things have transpired over the years, things have changed a lot. So what I did is I actually built out a community called the Brand Champions Academy, which I currently just opened the doors for all affiliates and everyone that I've ever worked with at some point in throughout my journey. So I'm letting everyone in right now for life at an exclusive lifetime access if they've worked with me, basically.
Yeah.
And then of course my affiliates and I, we're basically going in there right now, we're cooking. We're bringing all the ingredients together, and we're cooking. So what it is it's basically an ecosystem for music, entertainment, and business professionals throughout many industries. So you can find lots of different niches throughout it, because I haven't just served, people or worked with people in the music entertainment business. I've, helped people with fashion brands and stylists and sponsors and media companies, lots of media companies, magazine companies, you name it. Like, I've worked with them, political parties in different countries and etc. So it's really cool because inside of the community, we have many different channels. So we have an international channel, we have a DJ channel, we have a channel just for artists to drop their new songs. We have a channel for financial things, you know, so you have an idea of what you need to have if you're having troubles in finances or you need help to build out your base of your business. AI tools, you name it, like we have it in the academy. And then we'll also have courses. You know, right now, I currently have quite a few that we have in there now. We're actually building out a few over the next few days. But, you know, anything from helping you learn how to get a sync or a placement in film, TV, gaming, you know, as well as how to learn production side of things, you know, for the film industry. There's a music funding academy in there, and things on even sports journalism and more production and et cetera, et cetera. So there's a ton of information in there, but also the professionals are in there. So everyone that I've ever partnered with behind the scenes will be accessible to get insights, you know, so we'll be sharing our insights, information, workshops, and etc. So it's pretty much just there for, you know, the indiepreneur, I want to say, that's really bringing the energy and willing to learn and, you know, apply things, because at the end of the day, we're all entrepreneurs. We are all indiepreneurs. You know, I'm one, you know, and I have mentors. I have mentors, you know what I'm saying? But even for me, you know, to be able to access certain information, I have to meet that energy, you know, and I don't think that a lot of talents, you know, per se, understand that. It's not so much of, oh, I have a great voice and make great music, you know, what can you do for me? And it's like everybody has their hand out thinking like, oh, somebody owes them something. This is not how that works. You're a business, you're an entrepreneur. And I want artists to hear one thing: get rid of the whole independent artist thought, because that doesn't work anymore at all. You have to be an entrepreneur. So you are now an indiepreneur if you're going to move forward. And if you are, you know, I want to say this, I want to share something that statistics are sharing right now. Because of AI and technology moving so rapidly, we have a good 3 to 5 years in order for any entrepreneur to really make their mark and or you know, just even be a factor moving forward. So, and it doesn't matter if you've been doing whatever you've been doing, like it's time to level up. So if you're not implementing AI automation into your business, your systems, or et cetera, like, you have to utilize it to where it's benefiting you as a business. Now, and I want to be a little bit clear on that. So I'll come back to that. So it's not so much feeding information, but actually utilizing it to help you. You have to do that. So in this community, we'll be assisting talents to be able to do that, and entrepreneurs and businesses as well. So that's really, really important. So me personally, I think we have 3 years, to be very honest. So with that being said, we have to put our foot on the gas, and we don't have much time for conversation or the whole trial and error that I was talking about earlier, you know, where artists pivot. You don't have time to pivot. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you as much information as possible so that you can apply as you're going, you know?
Yeah, this is the level of conversation that I was going to get into. What does real branding for these artists look like beyond logos and photo shoots?
Say that again. Say that one more time.
Yes, of course. What does real branding look like beyond their logos and photo shoots?
Okay. Cool. Great question. So one, and this is kind of where we're going to now, right? This is the system we're implementing now. Don't get me wrong. The logo is a logo is very, very important, and photo shoots are very, very important because it gives an image to who you are. Your face and your recognition is who your brand is. That gives people a reference to who it is versus just a logo, right? I want to think of let's talk about prints real quick.
Mhm.
If you see the logo, and it's a symbol now, as we know, everybody knows. If you know, you know what I'm saying, who that is, and you have an image, because it goes back to him as an image.
Right.
If the new millennials, they might not know that, but I'm saying okay. So, and if you think of anything, like, let's just take a video game like Roblox. Okay, you see the logo, you already have a relative thought of what that looks like on the inside because you've
Right.
seen it, So that's really important. 1 second.
It's funny you said that. I was just telling one of my newer friends that I met through a group. We were talking about, your face is your brand, your image. That's your image. That's who you are. And branding is so important. Putting yourself out there, building that rapport. That's so funny you said that. We were just literally talking about that, and she's gonna be great.
Yes.
Putting herself out there.
Now, what you want to do is build out a system basically that works for you. Pardon me. And the system is basically going to redirect your traffic to you.
Right.
Now, one thing you want to be is very, very redundant in everything. Even your image. When you have a picture of, and I see this happening so often. I mean, honestly, if anybody wants to do their homework on what's actually working, I always say go study the greats, because it's always the best way to figure that out. If you go look at Beyonce, I mean, usually she has the same visual on every default of all her social medias. And you go to the website and you're like, everything looks the same. Madonna, same thing. So, and I even want to pinpoint people like Drake or Lil Wayne. They don't have the same Instagram handle as their name, but they've used that from day one till today. So if you have the majors that are doing this, DJ Khaled, he's always on live. He's always sharing something. I'm just saying, study the greats, because if you have the greats who are already great, they're already making a lot, they're already successful and they're consistent in being successful. You don't want to do something that's you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All you got to do is follow, what works. So one, you want to have a very clean picture of who you are. And if you're going to use something different, a different logo or a different name, whatever, you have to start from day one. Don't keep thinking that you have to reinvent. I hear this a lot, where artists are like, oh, I'm like, hey, what happened to all your content on your social media page? And they could have a crap load of followers or whatever. And, I'm just, redoing it, or, now I do understand if you're shifting completely what your image is about, but don't do that often. You have to stick to something, and you want to stick to something because you want to be able to be redundant enough to where people can easily find you, so when they're Googling you, when they're searching you, et cetera, it's super, super important. Now, what we do is we actually, when I'm building out game plans, I'm actually building out also their framework, because like I mentioned earlier, I'm more of a PR branding strategist. My goal isn't just to put you on a billboard or the magazines or the radio or etc., which we could do that all day long.
Right.
But is it making sense for you is my question. So I do go through quite a few things, and I do some studies around the brand itself. So I do an intake process. When I get that information, then we do like an actual research to where I can see like how they're populating, how they're looking online, how they're looking on social media, etc. But that helps me to help fill in the gaps to build out a game plan to take them from here, or wherever they're at to the next levels. And it's so important because if you're what I want to say, if you don't have like a framework where we can start building out your workflows and you have some type of funnel, then every
Yes.
time you're on interviews or anytime you're on radio or whenever you're posting something and somebody goes and likes it, let me ask, are you obtaining their email? Do
Right.
you have contact directly to them? When you tell somebody, hey, go check out my music, okay, cool, you might have got a stream, but guess what? There's so much content, they're most likely not going to remember who you are, even if you don't know, like, I mean, it's just the honest truth. Now,
Yes.
they might see you, now, if they see you redundantly enough, yeah, they might, you know what I mean? You think about things that
Sure.
go viral.
Mm-hmm.
When something goes viral, something even goes viral today and then it's gone and forgotten tomorrow.
Right. That's very true.
So, like, even though it's like well known of today, it's like, what about tomorrow? So
Right.
you want to have a funnel system that's going directly to every time somebody is clicking on something, somebody is looking at something, not so much your links. So that this way, automatically, you're obtaining their emails and you're putting them in your pocket. So now they're not just a fan, you're converting those into super fans. And so now in your workflows, whatever your framework encompasses, let's say your shows, let's say you have interviews, you know, you might, of course, you got your streaming, you might be selling one of your projects or your album projects, or you have merch or whatever else you have going encompassing around that, that's actually even helping you build funding. I mean, you could even, you have enough people, you can even create how do I want to say, fan clubs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or give different incentives or whatever, you know, that you could share with your fans. Take 1,000 fans and let's just go as simple as $1 to your fan club. That's $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
You know, and
Mhm.
what is streaming paying you right now? You have to literally wait year, you know, time in and time out, years, sometimes years, you know, it just depends. But it doesn't pay much of anything, you know. So now, not to say that the back end money isn't good, because I still highly recommend that people do drop their music online, but you don't technically have to drop everything. You can also keep a few things also for, you know, for other reasons. And we get more into that, you know, and just kind of strategize game plans that help them out.
Nice. Jules, you are the foundation of this all. You're a PR branding director and the founder of Jules and Roll. What inspired you to build an empire focused on assistant talent from the ground up?
Oh, so so I'm actually for those people that don't know, I was a talent myself. I've literally been in the music business, I would say, my entire life.
Wow.
I'm a descendant of the Cano families. My great grandfather was he orchestrated the Mexican orchestra, and then I had family. My uncle was he's actually pretty well known. They do a tribute to him every year. He was really well known on billboards and things like that. But his name is Eddie Cano. So I grew up around so much talent and music. I'm just so very grateful for, you know, my family and just everything that they've implemented into me. But I don't think we ever had a family gathering without a full-on band, you know. Or you know, we literally have, like, they're not like we're more like Latin jazz in a sense. So, you know, but we have all the instruments, all the talent. My mother was a professional singer. My father was a drummer. They actually met at one of my uncle's parties, from what I know, when they were younger. And that's how, you know, my dad was playing, and I guess my mom went to the party or whatever. But anyhow, so yeah, so that's really where it comes from. But also, me as a talent, my first concert, I was 9. I played piano in front of like 1,000 people. By the time I was 13, I was a professional dancer. I was a modern jazz dancer. I also taught tap dance to younger, like they were like probably like 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, younger kids, which was really cool. And then by the time I was 13, I also was a model. I was going to modeling school, so that ended up being my profession for like the next, I don't even know, like 15 years, I want to say. Yeah, I did that. I was a backup singer for my parents. I also did the percussions by the time I was 13. So I've been in and out of clubs since I was really young. So I don't really, I was always behind the curtain or, on the stage behind the scenes with my parents, even sometimes when I wasn't, before I wasn't even singing. And then by the time I was 15, I had my own band. And yeah, so, I was already walking runways and things like that by the time I was 15. So I kind of did the whole limelight experience growing up. And then in my late 20s, I just wanted to remove myself from the limelight. And it was more or less, family, and I had kids and things like that, so there were certain things that I just didn't really, slowly but surely, I kind of just pulled myself away from different things, as that process happened. I just didn't really want, times were different as well. I didn't want to expose my kids, and I don't know. I just didn't want to go that route with myself, but still have a passion and a love for music. And so my goal at that time was really to help friends and family, which honestly didn't last too long. I did do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just on the other end. It's that energy reciprocation that we're talking about. But as I started building it out, I of course started helping many other people. But my main goal at that time was I wanted to be able to help the independent artists to be able to have a resource to everything and anything you could possibly think of that can help them go from 0 to 1,000. And of course, not everything was even. I literally didn't have all the answers at that moment. Right. To be honest, I just knew what I wanted to do. That's nice. So of course I started, seeking out, the resources, and I was always pretty active in, in the field and whatnot. But I want to say by 2008. I think I want to say 2006, between 2006 and 2008 is probably around the time when I really started obtaining a lot of the information. I had, I also built out a nonprofit organization around that time called Be Safe, Building Safer Atmospheres for Entertainment. So we were pretty active in that as well. So that helped a lot. We helped a lot of young talents just really get hands-on training, whether they wanted to be a DJ or a promoter, whatever it is they wanted to do. And that same time period, I want to say, and it actually probably started a little earlier too, probably 2005 and up, is kind of where that whole era was. It was a lot going on. There was a lot of gang shootings. There was a lot of things going down, at the clubs. Clubs were starting to close or relocate or whatever. It was just a lot. So it was just a good, time, I guess, that, we did that. But yeah, I know I go on a tangent, so sorry. It's okay. But that's kind of where it all started. I really just wanted to be able to help other people, and I have a love for it. I mean, at the end of the day, I love what I do. And There's something really cool too. And I probably realized this several years ago is, when I was younger, as a kid, because not only, was I in the limelight or whatever, but I was always the kid who always organized the club, or an event or a party or something. I even threw my parents parties throughout, and I did the whole organization of it and whatnot. But yeah, I was kind of always the one that kind of always liked to put people together. And I always had lots of, we had a pool, and my parents, like I said, they were in music too. So we had a lot of parties growing up and things like that. So I started noticing, I was like, dude, I've been doing this my entire life. Yeah. I just been doing this my entire life. I guess it's just what I love to do. So I just love creating and building brands. And it's funny because it goes even way deeper. I think even as a kid, my first hustles, I used to buy and resell candy. I mean, we all kind of do our little thing when we're a kid. But I think even when I was I'm always been pretty crafty. So I created different things. I know one time I just started creating, it was kind of just a canister that would you could put your pins in or whatever, but they were really, really, they were really, really nice. Like they, I use silk and all types of stuff. So yeah, I always just created something and created some type of business. And I was always I was always making some type of money, you know what I'm saying? So I just learned to like, I love the fact of helping other people. The biggest blessing and excitement I want to say I get out of it is just seeing people, that I've worked with years ago and how they come up, in their elements, in their arena of what they love to do. I've had the pleasure of working with so many great brands. Just so grateful, to just even have, and it's nothing that I want to say, like, I believe that we're all given this God-given gift, or and a purpose, and that's all. I'm just living what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, at the end of the day, I think aside from that, the most thing that we'd probably love to do is hang out with our kids and nothing else. If it came to it, what I'm saying, if we could.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
I do appreciate just helping other people for sure, and and just being able to do that and make a living from it is I'm very, very grateful.
Well, Jules, that's why you're a powerful force behind the scenes and the forefront. Why do you believe being strategic behind the curtains is just as important as being in the front of it all?
I can't teach anybody to be strategic if I'm not.
Right.
Like if I'm not applying something, how could I tell you to apply something? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that simple. And not only that, I have to be able to have all the resources, the information, literally by the day, which is so crazy. Because I want to say a couple of years ago, maybe let's say 3-4 years ago. Let's see, Labels closed their door like 2000. That was like 3 years ago. But yeah, so like a few years ago, we, generally everybody in the business, you have to do consistent education and updates. You got to stay on the edge of technology to know how to formulate your business as time goes, or adjust things, and we probably did an average of usually about 4 times a year. You would, and that's like a quarterly thing. Then today, it's every day. It's no longer like it started to change a few years ago where it was like, whoa, like in one quarter you might have 3 months and we're like, dude, we're doing updates every week, and we just started getting overwhelmed. And then as time goes and AI technology starts advancing, it just becomes more rapid, and so why, again, it's just so important. You have to implement automation into your business because it's going to help you stay updated and knowing what's going on and, being able to keep up.
Okay. Well, back to the artists, because I know a lot of artists have asked me this question, and I'm not an expert in the artist world or the industry. This is why I bring important people like you on stage. But what separates artists who gets opportunities from those artists who stay stuck waiting?
The indiepreneur. You have to have the mindset. You no longer consider yourself an independent artist. An indiepreneur, you're going to be able to make connections with other entrepreneurs who can help you and find insights and be able to take on courses. You want to do your education. You want to make sure that, and I'm not saying in a sense like, oh, you have to go do this for your college and whatever else. No, there's actually professionals literally online, thankfully. Like we are so blessed with like things like YouTube and even Instagram where you can find many
information is free.
Yeah, man. And you guys don't let it pass you up because I do believe at some point in time it's not going to be there like that.
Right.
And so utilize it now while it's there, obtain as much as you can, learn from it and really just everybody's brand is completely different.
Right.
That like there's never been 2 artists through all my experience that I've ever seen broken the same way.
Right. Right.
I've never seen any two campaigns that are the same. It's impossible. Every single artist is completely different, and every single talent, every single musician, every single brand, you name it, from music, entertainment to even professionals. They're all different. We all have a different story. We all have a different vision. We all have a different purpose, and all that is up here.
Yeah.
So here's a cool trick I want to say. Number one, when you're using Chat GPT, don't give it what's here.
Right.
Only utilize it to assist you. So what I mean is, like, I've seen people, use it for flyers, and that's cool.
Yeah.
If you have a bio, let's just say, and you might want to ask it to check for corrections,
Right.
different ideas of how to spell it, but you wrote the bio.
Right.
That's okay. Put the bio in there, and then you ask it to rephrase it, whatever, right? And then it'll give you some ideas, and you can take from that. You don't even have to. You could even switch up some of the things. You know what I'm saying? But basically, you're using your information that you're how you're giving it.
Right.
But let's say, for example, when I'm writing a book, I don't I literally do none of my books on AI whatsoever. Like, it's all here.
Yeah.
So the only thing I might ask it is, it might be once in a blue moon, I might look at a sentence and I'm like, like, there could be a different way to write this sentence, or something like that. But other than that, no, I don't give it any of that information. The moment you feed AI any information, it literally understands it, knows it, flips it, rubs it down. Oh no, globally. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful of what you actually give it. Now, what you have in here and what I have in here is completely different.
Right.
We have two different purposes. We have two different goals, So even when I'm working with somebody, I do a lot of, picking the brain or whatever, so that I can actually build their vision, and I actually got an idea of, like, where this vision is going. I always say a PR is almost like an attorney, to be honest, because I know too much. but it's secure though, with me, because I'm actually helping and building it.
Right.
But with AI, you just want to be careful on that. So there is actually a way to get around that too, if you do need a little bit more help and insight. And there is things like, and I'll try to say this off the record real quick. You could go to Venice.ai. It's kind of like a black web in a sense, but it's like a AI. So you can go on there, and if there's more personal things that you want to, like, get help on, I would use it there if anything. Or like you're creating something like a community, and you're like, hey, I'm just so confused. This is what I'm doing, but those type of questions, you want to do it somewhere private, unless you have some type of professionals, of course. But of course, you want to be find the tools that are helpful to you, that are quick and efficient. So that's always just a good tip for you guys. But here's a positive though now of feeding AI, like Chat GPT, or the public AI's information. Here's a great tip for you guys. It kind of works almost like Wikipedia or Google, but quicker. So the moment you do feed it information, like let's just say you give it your bio, it stores it automatically. So now when somebody else somewhere else around the world goes to reference, like who is whoever, right? They're looking up an artist or whatever, it's going to have the information, and it uploads and it provides the information for people searching.
What is it called again? That's dope. Venice?
No. So the Venice.ai is when you want to do something private. It does not store information. That's like your black web in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's something private. You don't want, it's not going to store it. It's not going to feed the information anywhere. It's not going to do anything with it. But if you're doing your public, because everybody is aware of like Gemini, Chat GPT, all your public ones, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is when you're feeding it information about your brand, like your bio or anything else, you're going to be on radio if you're interview, whatever you're doing, and you're sharing that information in it, it will store it. So therefore, anybody else searching, just like Google works, or just like, when you're searching something online,
right,
it will provide that information.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty neat. Let's talk about your infamous slogan. It gotta be epic. Let's make history today. What does it truly mean in execution for creators or artists?
That's so cool that you asked me that. I actually I worked on it quite some time ago. I think it really came about when I was working with Rated X Radio, because we work with so many talents. Like I mentioned, his crazy resume. I think Keith Robinson probably he has at least about 70%. He's held about 70% of the businesses, the music industry and corporations. So working with him was pretty dope. And then I also was able to do a lot of first time campaigns at that time. Like, I'm gonna just give you a few that are actually epic today. Peggy Keiki, Stefan Don, Tanashi, Shinsia,
I love Stefan.
Tony Remedy, a lot of overseas talents for sure. Dram. There's a lot of, there's just so many, you know, but my thing is don't come into the thought process of, you know, you have an idea to create something, and we all have this God-given gift, you know, especially, you know, us entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
We have this God-given gift to be like, oh, this is what I really want to do, you know? So let's be the greatest at it.
That's right.
You know, and then that's what I want to help you brand. I don't want to help you brand something that you're just like, oh, you know, it's just like a hobby. And I hate, you know, I'm not saying that loving to do it is not a bad thing, but just being a hobby is a problem, because a hobby is like something you pick up whenever you have free time, you know, or once in a blue moon. No, this is something you sleep, eat, literally, like, yo, like
you're right though. I'm learning that now.
Yeah, no, for the longest time, and I still do this to today. So much. Like I will be trying to go to sleep, and I swear something will come to my thought, and then I have to go pull up my note. I'll either usually put a text message to myself.
My notes.
I have like 3 different phones, so I'll put a text message to myself, you know, and or a draft or something, or like literally, or I'll go write it down. But I even remember before, you know, before I was even doing that with phones, like I literally had a notebook and a pen next to my bed for so long. I mean, I still low-key do, but but you know, more so, like I use technology more than now than then. But yeah, like, you know, I'm constantly doing everything that I'm working on. There's literally no stop. I don't, whatever it is that I'm doing. It's funny because even my daughter's friends, they're so cute, because like my kids' friends, you know, like we're gonna go to a party in a minute, and they just always say, "You're just so dedicated." They just always say that. Like, you know, sometimes they'll come over and hang out, and I'm like, okay, I gotta, you know, I'll come and hang out with them for like a little bit and whatever, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta go now.
I gotta cut this short.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, I think that where we're at right now in this journey, you know, and literally within the next few years for sure, if you're not focused, if you don't have, and you don't even technically have to have the whole entire team around you, but at least be around people that are moving forward. That's right. Disciplining you. You know, we have to discipline each other. We have to push each other forward. We have to push the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? We have to raise each other up on a pedestal, all that good stuff. And if we're not around that type of people, change the people you're around. Change the people you talk to. And I know that might sound harsh to some people, but I promise you, it's the truth. But it's the truth. Because, you know, I want to go back to this thing that I've heard this from, and we've all heard this for many years, right? I mean, because we all come from some community. We all come from some hood, right? Or somewhere, right? And so we all have those friends that we all grew up with, and, you know, they want to take along or whatever. And surely they all somehow fall off. And we might hear, a lot of times where they're like, oh, they just think they're too good now to talk to us. Or they just, they're just blah, blah, blah. They just have a bunch of negative stuff to say. But let me tell you something. A person who's really focused, we don't have anything negative to say. I'm too busy. I'm literally too busy. And if you're doing anything negative energy, I'm going to cut my conversation with you very, very short. I'm going to give you, if you're a friend that I love, I'm going to give you a direct input and information and insight on how I feel about something. And then if you don't follow through, I'm going to have to remove myself. And then whenever I can, I'm going to come back and revisit. And that might not be, to be honest, if you, even if I love you, it doesn't matter how much I love you, even if I love you to death and you just really, really took me to the left, I might even say, hey, you know what? I love you. I'm going to wish you the best. I'm going to pray everything goes well. Just know that, blah, 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 right? And I might give you some time. I might give you a year. I might give you 2 years. I'm not even lying. And this is the truth. And if you're wondering why I haven't followed up, it's because your conversation isn't meeting the energy.
Right.
If we're not going to come into the room and say, hey, you know what? I understand why you did that. We have to take accountability. I have to take accountability for all my actions. We as a team, we as friendships, we as partners, whatever we are, in any type of relationship, have to take accountability. And we should be able to say, hey, you know what? You did something to me the other day and I didn't like it, And if you really care about somebody and you or the quality or or value that relationship, then you should have absolutely no problem to say, hey, you know what? I apologize. What I'm saying? Or and not only say apologize, but actually change. Don't do it again.
Yeah, you have to have the action behind it. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So it's really simple, but I think that a lot of times people that have negative things to say, that's because they have a negative mindset. So why I'm starting even with the workbook, with the mindset, because it doesn't matter what type of business you're going after. I don't care what type of business. It all starts here. If we don't have a positive mindset and can't build a mindset so that we can actually accelerate, and maximize and capitalize in everything we're doing, then we're going to be missing quite a bit and we'll fail.
Very true.
That goes for me too. So
very true. Me too. You want to talk a little bit about Brand Champions Academy?
Yeah, so Brand Champions Academy is really, in a nutshell, like I mentioned earlier, it's a ecosystem for music, entertainment, and business professionals. We have all types of business professionals in all niches. You will be able to find instructors, insights, information, you name it, of the actual the highest level of reference you can possibly get. For those of you that aren't aware, in the music business and in businesses, that we work with the top of the software. We work at the top of the softwares, in anything, whether that's social media or whatever. So you'll be able to have access to all those resources. So you don't have to worry about, not knowing where to go or finding the specific resource and or even going through 20 different marketers to find the right one. I hear so many conversations of people in the past saying, oh, I spent X amount of dollars and I got scammed, I got blah, 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 and I'm like, yeah, well, you have to do some research. So research also is very helpful too. But Brand Champions Academy will go live on the 22nd. Really, really excited. There will be a promotional rate to join. So that will be public on the 22nd. Press releases and the whole 9 will be out for anyone to join. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. It's something that I said that just kind of came to me. I'm just grateful. Like, I'm super grateful for my journey. I'm super grateful that God's even positioned me to be able to help other people. And I don't want to take that for granted. And I want to share this too, because I think I've personally struggled with this at some point, some years ago as well in my journey. And I think that a lot of us do. And this is kind of also in the lines of things that I'm going to be doing in my workshops in the academy. I'm really going to be focusing a lot on mindset, a lot of what it actually takes, for us entrepreneurs to build, and things that we may struggle with that we don't talk about. And I think that, one of the things is, it's not an easy journey. You know what I'm saying? Shifting your mindset and, letting go what you need to let go, and being able to have the right mindset to be in the right rooms is just something that you have to work at. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you have to build. I mean, none of us have come from, I don't want to say, there's a lot of us. We're a huge population that have not been taught, the basics of financial literacy. If we think about people in school, if we think about a child, okay, by the time you're 4 or 5 years old, you're already being taught what to do, when to sit down, when to get up, when to use the bathroom, when to go to recess, when to eat, when to do arithmetics, when to do art, et cetera, right? But for, and if you think of a child before that, if you ask a toddler, what do you want to do? Their mind is just like, I'm going to go do blah, 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 blah. They're going to do everything, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that we lose that, in being programmed, through so many years.
Yeah, we lose that inner child. Very true.
Do. And that inner child is so, so important to everything that you have, because I promise you that everything that you have already, everything to be successful is already literally inside of you. Everything.
That's a gem.
So everything is about deprogramming to reprogram. We have to forget everything that we've been learning and then reprogram ourselves. And it's very, very important, So, don't ever forget that. And also, just don't overexert yourself, just know, if you have a struggle for something, whatever you do for guidance, pray, meditate, whatever, I highly suggest that. It's really important to even wake up early, before you have to do anything. Don't just jump up and go do things. Get up early, meditate, pray, read something positive, whatever, exercise, work on you on a consistent, and as you do that, that allows you to have just a much more fulfilling, successful day, because now you can go give everybody your attention because you've attended yourself.
That's right.
And I think
love that. I love that you said that.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times, and I didn't do that. Trust me, I was not the person that did that for a long time. I took a quantum law class a few years ago,
nice.
And it was probably the best thing that I ever did. I want to say it took probably around 2019 or so, but it was the best thing that I ever did. And it really helped me to really implement and shift completely, because I was that person. For anybody who's in the music business space, or even, artists, if you think about it, we're crazy busy, like I said earlier, I got 3 phones. So I would jump up in the morning, read text message, look at emails, get on phone calls, and then I'd fall asleep like that too. So literally, throughout my day, it's like, unless I found pockets to do something for myself, whether it's work out or, get something to eat, whatever it may be, I wasn't doing anything for myself. You know what I'm saying? And so I shifted that, and that helped me a lot to just wake up, have a program in the morning and wake up early. Everything's just a learning process. If you feel like you're struggling in something, do your homework around that thing. Do your homework around that topic. Find resources. And again, we're so blessed right now to have YouTube, people that are out there that actually do specific things, whether it's, somebody in the health, education, or, fitness, or whatever it may be, what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're looking, you can pretty much find some type of solutions and resources to help build out something that works for you.
I'm glad you said that. If you could give one piece of advice to any creator or artist who feels overlooked right now, what would you tell them?
Um, Again, I would definitely just find your resources. Find your
Mhm.
resources that can help you. We're here, Branch Abby's Academy. I'm grateful for it because we'll have, the music business and the music industry, and even professionals and businesses. It can be vast, but it's actually really small.
Yeah.
So you don't have to really search far and low, you know what I mean, in a sense. Like you find one major reference to something, usually they have the contacts to everything else, or a lot of contacts and in their network.
Very true.
That's pretty much what Brand Champions Academy is, because I always say that out of sight, out of mind, and there's so many times that I've come across talents or somebody that I've worked with, or even just communicated with for over time, and like they know what I do, and it's like they'll go do something in a certain area and get their experience, and then later they'll come back to me and like, oh, I went and I did this and blah blah, and I'm like, dude, how long have you known me? I'm like, you do know that this is what I do, right? I'm a why would you not ask me? Like,
Right.
I'll give some references. I'll give you, if I don't know, I know somebody that knows. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, yeah, you just want to make sure that you, just apply as much as you can. Find what you know, what you don't know. Do your homework. Very, very important. Do your homework, especially if you're seeking people to help you, because you don't want to get in a conversation or something. And I think I just seen this yesterday at our. Yep, I did see this yesterday. We do a live music review every Friday, our Mike Madness music review with Rock Nation and Music Funding Academy, and sometimes you'll get people in the thread, in the chats, and they're just spamming, or they're just being rude, and like, oh, am I getting scammed? And there was this one guy that was like, kept DMing me, and he's like, I'm getting scammed here, and then he like sends me a screenshot, and he sends me a screenshot of a payment that he sent to a whole nother company, which I have no clue of who they were. And I was like, yeah, I don't know who that is. So like, you have to go to that company to figure that out, because that's not who we are. And I had to tell him, like, this is who we are. This is where you're at, you're not at that company. So it's very important. Do your homework, because you don't want to be that person. We had to eventually kick him out the room because he was just spamming too much. But you start once again, everything is an energy match. I guess this is probably the trick. Everything is an energy match at the end of the day. That's it. That's literally it. Bottom line, everything is an energy match. If I wanted to get in a room with a bunch of executives, guess what I have to have? I have to have an executive mindset.
Yeah.
If I want to be in the room with a room of millionaires or billionaires, guess what I have to do? I have to have the billionaire mindset or the millionaire mindset. You feel where I'm coming?
Yeah.
And it's so important. So why I say, do your homework, do your research. Don't hesitate to learn more, as much as you need to know. Figure it out, work on your mindset, and it's going to come to you, because once you start applying things here and you start writing things down and you start putting it into action, even if you don't even know where you're going or what you're going to do, you just have the thought and idea, you start to actually aligning your energy with the energy that's supposed to come to you. Like, it's really that simple. If you think about, there's a genie out there, and you have a wish, and you have 3 wishes, and you ask it for those wishes, you have to also implement it here, in your mind. You can't just say, oh, I want to be wealthy, and then you have no idea of how to be wealthy. Like, you have to have a guide to and a roadmap, and you got to work at it. You have to work at it. Success does not come without work.
That's right. Gotta do the work.
Every month your rent is due. Today your rent is due. Every day you have to put in work. So I will say this. I'll share this as a little something that I do personally. you guys can go do your research about 369. I won't get all into that, but a lot of wealthy people in the world use this method. So what I do is in my on my alarm goes off every threes, basically 3:33, 6:33, 9:33, whether it's AM or PM. Of course, just not in the middle of the night, but
If you
and
know, you know.
yeah, and every time that it goes off, it's just a reminder to myself that somewhere between the last time my alarm went off to the next time it goes off, that I have worked on something moving forward for my brand and for others. And that's just something that I do for myself consistently. So I literally remind myself all day, every day, if I have worked on something, and even if it's something that I'm like, oh, I need to go check and learn on insight on something, then that alarm also reminds me of that.
That's dope. I love the 369 too. I use it here and there, but it
Yeah.
does work. It definitely
Yes.
does. Jules, I appreciate.
It's discipline.
Huh?
Discipline.
Yeah, you definitely have to have discipline with that, and definitely do your research, like she said, so you can get a better understanding what it implements.
Yes.
Jules, if you can let the viewers know when they do see this broadcast where to find your book and the resources.
Yeah. So everything is actually the books are available on Amazon. You can find both of them on Amazon. You can also go to my website, which is Jules of Rome. JUELSOFROME. The same thing as my handle on the screen. I'm pretty much everywhere on all social medias. Same handle. You don't have to worry about trying to find it. It's there. Yeah, and you can just pretty much find that. I'm everywhere on pretty much all social media platforms, literally.
I mean, y'all heard it first. Jules, I appreciate your presence. I thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, I appreciate you so
Oh
much.
man, it's been a long wait.
Yeah,
But I would like to say for myself, you're definitely inspirational. You inspire a lot of women like myself to push forward and just be that voice of reason. And we are the foundation,
we
and we
are.
got to act like it. So again,
Yes,
I
and I
appreciate you
appreciate
so
you.
much.
I appreciate you, sister. I'm super, super grateful. So thank you
Yeah,
so much. I
looking forward
can't
to great
do.
things.
I always say I can't do my job, without my team, and you are part of the team. We are part of the.
I
We're part of
appreciate it.
the ecosystem.
Yes,
So
ma'am. I
thank
appreciate that. Yes, so Jill took me under her wings, y'all. So stay tuned for more.
you. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye, Jules. I'll see you
Bye.
later.
Thanks for
Bye.
having me. Bye.
Y'all heard it first. This was the exclusive with Jules of Rome. Ah, guys, there's more to come, definitely. Like I said, we are the voice of the reasoning. We are visionaries. We are creators. We are entrepreneurs. We are the foundation on strategy, structure, and creative execution. And we are trying to develop and focus our empire and build it to the ground up, assisting talents and brands from all over. So if you fit this criteria, if you're looking for a community to build with, please look forward to either look for, into more of my podcast episodes, or just reach out to us. Reach out to me at pretty poetic underscore. You can reach out to Jules. Her underscore tag will be down below. And she's on, she's at Jules So For Me, Success with Jules, and at Artist Connect. But again, I will jot down her links, her tags of her social media platforms and websites. And I also will jot down her book, Success, The Secret Sauce, and Breaking My Music Workbook Series 1, Volume 1, which is out now and available, and The Secret Sauce on Amazon. As always, y'all, I really appreciate y'all presence. Y'all always been a vibe, always will be a vibe. And this is Talk That Talk Around the Table podcast. Y'all definitely pop in, show out as always, like we do. Y'all know the vibes. It's your girl, J. Renee. I love y'all. I love y'all. Artists, creators, definitely take heed to the educational inspiration and tools and resources that were provided in this broadcast today. Don't mind me, I got a lot going on today. Again, that was Jules. She is the founder of Jules of Rome, business and design major. Again, she's building her foundation and her empire with her team. We got the branding. Excuse me. I want to make sure I say it right because We are all a part of it together, affiliated. Brand Champions Academy. Again, she's the PR and branded director and then founders of Jewels of Rome. Go catch out her book. It is out now and available on Amazon. Okay, y'all, we were dropping gems today, so take heed, write them down, type them up, put it in your notes. And again, if you need more information, you could definitely reach out to us at our social media tags. As always, I love you all again and again and again. Peace.